Everybody see me now. Okay. Alright. Is there anyone watching? I did say that I had to move up the time because it was because of a stupid kid. Okay, there's the cursor now. Okay, that's one view, and let's start. World building around furries. How do your furries fit into your world? How to construct your world in order to fit the existence of furries rather than awkwardly enforcing them in. First of all, you have to ask 3 questions. 1. How do they differ from humans? 2. Where did they come from? And 3. How exactly do they fit in your world? Now, furries usually exist on a scale of animal to human. Where exactly they sit may vary even within the same work. You might have furries that are very close to human, just with ears and tail, like the anime cat girl, or they might be talking animals, like in the fairy tales. And there's no reason you can't have both and everything in between in the same work. Now, I'm going to address the concept of the zipper back. It's a controversial classification of furries who seem to be human except visually. So they might as well be humans in fursuits. I'm not sure if it is coined by Fred Patton. It sounds like him. Correct me if I'm wrong. Really, it's not that bad. Okay? Now, there are many ways in which furries can differ from human. There might be the anatomical differences, behavioral differences, like and instincts, differences in diet, or even seasonal cycles such as shedding and growing out winter coats. Or you know what. Now, the second question, where do furries come from? This honestly doesn't always need to be explained. If you're running like a slice of life episode that just happens to have furry characters, you don't need to explain where they came from unless you want to write a story arc that explains it. As a general rule, though, furries fall under two categories: evolved and created. Furries who were created and require a creator. And then you need to answer who created the furries if you go down this path, and why. And in particular, are they still around? Now, I think really any meaningful difference between using science or magic for this purpose, or if it was as the gods themselves that are responsible. And of course, keep in mind that in most fantasy settings, everyone is artificial to an extent. They were created by one god or another. Okay. Lost my cursor again. And evolved furries usually require a long divergence from real-world history. If you want to an alternate history of several million years, and of course this doesn't preclude the existence of non-furry or non-anthropomorphic animals. It's about as dumb as asking why are there still other types of apes besides humans. Or redneck dog. Now, a variant of the created furry is the transformed furry. Usually acres of human to furry transformation, sometimes animal to furry, and this may be one-off or a global event. The transformation story archives of the early fandom collected a lot of human to furry transformation stories that involved some this is hot, some kind of artifact or genie or witch who transformed a dumbass human into a furry. And then transforming one into cope. However, if you want to make an alternate universe and you don't want to diverge that far, you can have a mass human to furry transformation event. This also works in future settings as well. Now, that gets into the third question, and final question. How do they fit into your world? You need to figure out what kind of world you've got. Is it the real world with some changes? Is it in the future? Or is it an alternate timeline that diverged at some point in the past? Could it be a secondary world of some sort? Like Narnia or Westeros or the universe in Kevin and Kel that occasionally crosses over with the human world. Or could it be a hidden world like the Borrowers or Secrets of Moon or are living in the shadows of the real world? It might also apply for rare creatures in a urban fantasy setting or such. One thing to consider for such a setting is architecture and infrastructure. If it's designed to have multiple species with multiple sizes, maybe you're going to need multiple spaces that fit these for things. Doors, staircases, it's a little difficult for a mouse to climb stairs that are taller than itself. Chairs. How do you make chairs that fit tails? There are a lot of attempts at explaining that problem, but it's surprisingly hard to look for on 450. And then there's the big question that dogs so many in furry media. Do they eat each other? Well, they can, but it's a little hard to justify when you start looking into it more closely. It's not really, if you've got a civilized, quote-unquote, civilized world, where living and routinely eat each other, it kind of sucks. Yeah. How? You can get around that by simply having non-anthropomorphic animals go around, or in a futuristic or sci-fi setting, you could have synthetic meat or something. You might be able to make a plot line out of the introduction of synthetic meat. And I know that 21st Century Fox did, and the last of House Pets, there was a talk of Just coming off of that concept is the issue of interspecies relationships. In the world, are interspecies romances accepted or discriminated against? Some authors have tried to make an allegory out of it, but such attempts are usually really clumsy and hard to form a parallel to real life interracial or same-sex relationships, especially if you've got a situation where those eat one another. See Kevin and Carol here. And then there's the question of whether hybrids are possible at all. And it's not, there's not, if you don't allow hybrids or other forms of interspecies breeding, you might be able to form some parallels with queer relationships, or at least in the ways that bigots try to justify it. But it's still a clumsy allegory. And a way to get around the world building of accommodating furries is to have the newcomers to the world. But then you should be trying to show how they don't fit in. The infrastructure might not fit their body. You might have trouble finding chairs or pants that fit tails, or might not have headgear or facial standards in this case that can fit their head shape. And most legal systems give non-human animals much fewer rights than humans, and there's no consideration for the possibility of sapient non-human animals. Your dog phone might end up in the pound. Yeah. Okay, and conclusion, there are many ways to world build, and many ways that you can get your furries to fit in, but you'll have to consider what you need to do to make them fit. If that's the kind of story you want to tell. If you just want to do a basically human story with animal characters, you can do that. If you want to write a story about animals in a non-human and how they fit in the world, you can write that too. That's the end of the slideshow. I'll turn it off and we can get questions and take questions. I'm still on the line. Does anyone have any questions for me? I'll stick around for the rest of the hour. Anyone? Okay. I guess no one. Oh, I don't see anyone, so think I'll close out at after half an hour. See what happens. Yeah, maybe I could play. Maybe I could play some more Sloppy G or something. Oh, well. Yeah, I think I'll just take the rest of the day off. Just zipping around the city looking for or good work. Why I had to move up the schedule. And yeah, I'm hoping for a lot more audience participation at the convention, even though I got a Sunday, a morning slot, and everyone's going to be hungover. Well, okay, I think that's long enough. Bye.